Good evening, I'm Alex Merritt. Welcome to Grady News Source. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Oconee County. The GBI is currently on the scene of a fatal shooting and conducting an investigation into a report by the Oconee County Police Department. Oconee County deputies were dispatched at 10:17 a.m. to Creekview Court to respond to a domestic incident. Responding deputies requested more units to respond to a woman on the scene, allegedly armed with a blowtorch and a knife. According to a Facebook post from the county sheriff's office, the woman was tased and shot by deputies after charging towards them with a knife. Despite attempted CPR by the deputies, the woman died on the scene. Police say the identities of those involved have not been released as of tonight. No deputies were injured. However, a male who was involved in the domestic incident sustained minor injuries prior to police arrival. We called the police department ourselves, and they say a report will be released as soon as tomorrow. This is still an ongoing investigation, but we'll continue to bring you more updates as more information is released from the sheriff's office. The county's Board of Elections released a voter hotline this week that citizens can call if they have any questions regarding absentee voting, in-person voting, voter registration, or anything to do with the general election in November. This is Alex Merritt reporting from the Oconee Civic Center in Oconee County, where voters are casting their ballots early ahead of the general election in November. Based on what I've seen since I've gotten here, people are starting to filter in and out. I spoke with the manager of this polling station, Miss Rebecca Anglin, and she said just like Monday and Tuesday, the polls have been slammed. As of mid-afternoon, over 700 people have voted at this polling station today. The Georgia Secretary of State's office reported over 128,000 ballots cast on the first day of early voting, breaking a previous state record set in 2016 where over 90,000 people voted on the first day. That's a 42% increase in early voting on the first day. Between Athens, Clarke, Madison, Oconee, and Oglethorpe County, Oconee County was the busiest by far, with 1,254 votes cast on the first day, while the other four settled in the 400 to 500 range. Oglethorpe County Board of Elections Director Steve McCannon said that his county saw over 400 people vote on Monday, doubling their previous record set in 2016. Athens Clarke County received over 500 in-person ballots on Monday, and in response has opened Athens City Hall as an overflow voting site. Oconee County Board of Elections Assistant Director Jennifer Stone told me they weren't expecting that many voters, but were prepared for them.
We had enough machines, available for everyone, and I think the most that anybody had to wait was about 30 minutes.
As you can see behind me, the Oconee Civic Center is a large space where people can cast their ballots inside while still maintaining COVID-19 protocols. I've been inside the building myself, and it is a large enough space for people to socially distance and vote at the same time. Jennifer Stone said they can't require people to wear masks. However, the majority of voters have done so, and I myself have seen many people walk in wearing a mask. Stone said their office made a polling location change to the Civic Center 2 months before early voting started to accommodate more voters. Reporting from the Oconee Civic Center, I'm Alex Merritt from Grady News Source. Some may think that the ongoing audit for ballots cast for the presidential election is the same thing as a recount, but that's not actually true. The tally was triggered by a risk-limiting audit that was written into Georgia law in 2019. The audit started on Friday, November 13th. The law states that an audit will occur following November general elections in even-numbered years. This is the first election in which the audit is taking place, and Oconee Board of Elections Director Fran Leathers says her office knew the audit would be taking place after the election. Former Georgia Secretary of State Kathy Cox says that the audit serves as a confidence builder for the new voting machinery that was implemented statewide this year.
The purpose of that is to basically do a sample hand count of ballots in a particular race and compare that to the scanned total of the ballots in a race so that you just make sure they match up. So it's just a confidence builder.
The law also says that one contest in the ballot will be audited, which is selected by the Secretary of State. The law lists criteria that the Secretary of State should take into consideration when choosing which contest to audit. Cox said Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger picked the presidential race for a reason.
But if the margin is close, you pull a much bigger sample and do a hand count of a much larger sample and compare that to the scanned sample.
Raffensperger explained some frequently asked questions, or FAQs, on Twitter this past Saturday. He explained why the state is undergoing an audit and what the difference is between this and a normal recount. The audit is done prior to official certification of the state's votes and is required by Georgia law. A recount, on the other hand, must be requested by the losing candidate after the results have been certified.
According to the State of Georgia website, a candidate has to submit a recount request within 2 days of the election result certification. Raffensperger said that a recount can be requested by the losing candidate if the candidate is within 0.5% margin of the winning candidate. President Trump is well within the margins to request a recount. He trails former Vice President Joe Biden by just 0.28%. He can request a recount as soon as the state's results are certified on Friday. All 159 counties in Georgia will have until Wednesday, November 18th to certify their audits. From there, Secretary Raffensperger will have until Friday, November 20th to certify the election's results. Alex Merritt, Grady News Source.
Following Georgia's 14-3 win over the Kentucky Wildcats on October 31st, Georgia starting safety and team captain Richard LeCount was in a car accident in Athens. According to Athens Clark County Police, LeCount was riding a motorcycle when he was struck by multiple cars on Macon Highway. LeCount was hospitalized that night and placed in an intensive care unit, or ICU. Georgia football head coach Kirby Smart made his first comments regarding the accident in a press conference on Monday.
I was updated by Ron. He was moved from an ICU room to a regular room, which was a good step, good news. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. He's got wonderful parents, and we've been in communication with those guys, and they've been up here, being able to be with him during this time. So I know our team sent a bunch of messages, video messages, and things like that to him yesterday, and we're all hopeful and expecting a full recovery.
Following his removal from his ICU, LeCount provided a positive update on Twitter, though just a few short words. Speaking of the Gators, the Bulldogs will make their annual trip down to Jacksonville for a game that could very well decide the SEC's Eastern Division on Saturday. Georgia, now 4-1 and ranked 5th in the latest AP poll after the road win against Kentucky, will face a Florida team that's 3-1 and ranked 8th in the AP poll. Coach Smart had positive things to say about Florida head coach Dan Mullen and his team on Monday.
Dan's done a great job there with their team. Preparing those guys. They are high-powered. They've got a lot of really good skilled players. Got an experienced quarterback who can throw and catch the ball really well, and got a really good unit, good team.
In terms of this Saturday, Florida will be missing at least 2 defensive players against Georgia. After a fight in the first half against Missouri, the SEC suspended Florida defensive lineman Zach Carter and linebacker Antoine Powell for the first half of Saturday's game. The game will start at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday in Jacksonville. This has been Alex Merritt with your Grady News Source Sports Updates.